Well, a little bit of an update on the Trailblazer that I've been slowly getting it prepared for winter, and it looks like I may be driving it for a little bit anyway. But the other day I uploaded a video and I had hard brakes. The pedal, you'd push the pedal and the brakes were really stiff, and I've been all over the vehicle. And I went over it a second time and I finally had found out what was wrong. I actually had a brake caliper pin that was frozen inside the bracket, and I showed you that on the last video. Now today I'm actually working on the front, and as you see here, we got our brand new bearing on, hub and everything. We got our new wire going over to our ABS, so this went on pretty well. And I did change out this upper ball joint. Now I have videos online on how to do this on this Trailblazer. I had this whole section off, and I got all this back on last night, but I wanted to show you, I had one pin in the back that was bad on the brakes, and would you believe on the front here I had another caliper pin bracket here that was froze up. So I took a hammer, heat torch, I hit it and beat it, and finally got it free. So technically so far I've had two of these pins frozen inside this bracket. And like I said in the last video, what happens when these freeze up, your brake shoes don't actually get pushed back. They kind of go sideways and your pedal gets really stiff. So hopefully the other side should be okay, but I did find this one here was bad. I did get it kind of cleaned up a little bit, although I don't know if it's going to be worth using. There is so much rust down in there. This boot here is actually missing on this side there. And you can see this boot is even torn, but you can see this pin here is actually in a little bit better shape. There's not a lot of rust down there on the bottom, but this one here has a lot of rust, and places here were pitted. So even if I did get a boot and put on here, it would probably start to leak and probably tear. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and replace this one here. I can get these for 25 bucks. But I just wanted to show you, if you're working on Trailblazers or any other automobiles and your brakes are really stiff, you might want to just kind of check these pins. So far I've found two, and I was really surprised to find this one here that was frozen, but I did get it loose. Unfortunately, the one in the back on my last video, I could not get it loose, and I had to go out and get another bracket. There is a look at the lower ball joint, and you can see it's been greased and everything, and it was actually okay. I just kind of greased it up and cleaned off the boot a little bit. And on the top here, this is actually a new ball joint on the top there, and I actually reused the old grease fitting, which is perfectly okay, and we got it greased up. And someone's actually put new shocks on the front of this. So this thing has been around the block a few times, that I think I may actually get to save it and maybe drive it a little bit longer, and this actually may make somebody else a pretty decent winter driver as we get into the season here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put all this side back together and go to the other side, and hopefully we won't have any more caliper brackets here frozen up. So these are really a problem on the Trailblazer, especially if you live in the Northeast. So hopefully this video will give you some idea to make sure you check all these, make sure they're free. But we'll go ahead and do the other side and see what we got, and go ahead and finish up here. And by the way, I did have to go to the parts store, and I rented this here for $140 to get these ball joints out, especially the top one. But here is the wheel bearing that I almost forgot to show you. This is the one I took out, and you can see it was pretty much toast. A lot of rust. If I spin this, you can probably hear it. This is what you want to do with all your wheel bearings. Hear that? Really hard to turn, and you can hear that noise, that so this one here was giving me that noise when I was driving it, kind of a rumbling sound. So you want to check everything when you're under there doing work, that's for sure. Okay, so let me just count here. We got one on the back side that I replaced where the bolt was frozen up into the bracket. This side too on the driver's side, so there's number two that we've had to replace. And would you know, on the passenger side, on the front, would you believe we have another frozen bolt in the brackets. Top one's fine, the bottom one here is locked up tighter than I can actually do anything with. I cannot, well, let's just take it off. I cannot break this loose. It is just frozen in there. nothing I can do. So it looks like I'm replacing this one too, so that's 3 so far. But this one's fine. And the boot on this one's good, but perhaps they just got hot at one time and froze up, but that one there is not coming out. So we got that. Ugh, it's not coming off, unfortunately. So it looks like I'm going to be replacing that one. It would not surprise me if I had to change 4 of these. I haven't checked that wheel here back there yet. It would not surprise me. Oh boy, the things you get yourself into. Hey, but at least I got the slotted rotors on the driver's side. It's going to look pretty good. Should stop a little bit better. So all you can do sometimes is just try. And there's a result of that. It is Monday. I would expect nothing less. So it looks like we're going to be replacing this one here. So that makes 3 so far. There's all 3 of them. There is the right rear passenger side from earlier where I had to cut the bolt out. Thought I could save it, but no dice. Here is the front driver's side. You can see the bolt sheared off in there. It's frozen, would not come out. And there's one we just did. So these things can be expected. The best thing you can do is just fix them and just keep your cool and keep moving forward. Alright folks, some good news. After 3 days of hunting up parts, brackets, and seals, finally got the brakes back to normal, and she feels good now. When I tap the brakes, she stops on a dime. There's the new rotors with the slotted discs on the front. I'll give you a quick look over here. Sometimes these things you just gotta keep at it until you get it right. And there's the ones on this side. I think you can kind of see it in there. But man, what a difference. We got new rotors. Actually got new brakes all the way around. Just the front of it, I have new rotors with the slotted discs. The back rotors, they're okay. There was no problem with them. So I'm going to start this up real quick. I think she's going to be a good vehicle for the winter months. Starts right up. I got a muffler to put on it. We're going to put that on this afternoon. And now when I drop her down and drive, put my foot on the brake, just barely tap it now. I think you can kind of get the idea here. She stops on a dime. I just have to barely touch that pedal. So I'm really happy about that. It looks like that has taken care of our stiff pedal. And you wouldn't think those little pins would do that, but it's amazing if you have 4 of them or 3 of them, 3 out of 4 like I did, causing a stiff pedal like that. It all adds up to a really problem making your pedal feel really stiff. And you can see I just barely have to touch this pedal now. And it stops really good. So I'm really happy about that. And one other quick side note here. I know these Trailblazers have a lot of problems with lifters ticking, but since I put new oil in it, it doesn't sound bad now. The rod noise that I thought that was a rod is actually gone away. And just a little bit of a tap, but nothing too bad. I'm really surprised how much quieter it is. By the way, I have a Shroud. It's sitting over there. I put it on. That's a brand new clutch fan. $40 free shipping. But it sounds pretty good. Let me just rev it up here a little bit for you guys. Now my tachometer doesn't work. That's pretty typical. They all quit working, but I can fix that. I think you can hear it there. So there you go. I'm really surprised how good it sounds now. So I think it's going to be a pretty good vehicle for the winter months. I'm eventually going to sell it. I'm looking for something a little newer, but I just want to show you guys. Looks like the brake problems are fixed, and the engine now, since it's got new oil and filter and all that, it seems like it's going to be okay. This thing was 4 quarts of low in oil, so that would cause some lifters to tick and hammer, I guess. Okay, now before we end the video here, I wanted to show you This is the front bracket, brake bracket. This is the rear one. Now there are two types of seals on these rear brackets, caliper brackets. You have a seal type here that pops over this right here, and I don't think I'm gonna get this off because I've got my gloves on, but this actually pops over. So these rear seals are different. Now here's the front. If you look closely, these are actually down in there, they're seated. So when you order these seals, if you ever have to, if you actually have a good caliper, like this one here is still good, but you notice here the seal's torn, and you can see how that's kind of tapped down in there. These here, you can get all 4 of these free shipping online for about $20. And here's what the caliper pin looks like. And you can see the bolt is torn, and on this side, this one's the one that's sheared off, and you can see this boot here is torn also. So just so you know, these are 2 different types of seals on the front and the rear. Alright everyone, that's it from Trailblazer Central, I guess you could say. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And until my next video, hope this helps you out, and I will see you later.